Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this service of the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Grand Traverse. I'm Dave Newhouse. I'm a member of the Sunday Services Committee, the Endowment Committee, the Vocal Ensemble. Volunteers are always welcome here, and they're put to good service. Okay. Welcome to those of you joining us via live stream, in addition to those here in our beautiful sanctuary. If you're visiting or new to our congregation and are willing and able, would you please stand and introduce yourself? We'll bring you a microphone to ensure everyone can hear you. It's like yeast, nobody's rising. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Jess.
I'm Piper.
Good morning and welcome. We invite everyone to join us after the... Oh, good.
Hi, I'm Chard. I'm here only sometimes in the area, but I'm very glad to be here.
Welcome. Okay. We invite everyone to join us after the service in the social hall for refreshments and conversation. A yellow mug for your beverage will help identify visitors so we can get to know you. Now, sharing our joys and concerns helps us stay connected in our beloved community in times of caring and celebration. You can record your joys and concerns in the book on your left. You can light a candle of remembrance during the centering music, and your joys and concerns will be shared later in the service by Ann. Now, today we continue exploring the JETPIG introduced last week. Now, I admit, there's the JETPIG, thank you, Ellie. I admit my ambivalence about this acronym. You may remember, as I do, on the series Alice, the waitress Flo, whenever she expressed doubt, she said, "When pigs fly." Okay. And having constructed and flown model rockets with our son Craig when he was young and I was younger, my mental image of a pretty pink porker being lofted by a rocket motor until a parachute deploys at altitude, drifting lazily downward, is hardly spiritually uplifting. But so, join me today, and as we get TP'd on transformation and plurality. Okay, as we start the service this morning, please set your phasers to stun. We can bring our attention to full time together. But before Julie Galbatz plays our centering music, President of the Board Dan Tolan has a few words about where things are on our budget drive. Dan.
Good morning. I'm Dan Tholen, President of the Congregation Board of Trustees. Good morning. Thank you for coming. Just wanted to give a quick update on our pledge drive. We have closed it. Now, we haven't closed it, of course, but we have ended our activities, except for making phone calls to those of you who have pledged in the past and have not pledged yet this year. Please, we are now at about 84 pledges as of yesterday, totaling $205,000. This is $65,000 short of our goal, and there's about 35 people who have pledged in the past who haven't pledged yet this year. So please, if you intend to pledge, please let us know right away in the next day or two. Today would be great. Otherwise, you will receive some phone calls next week, and that's not a threat. We love to talk to you, but think of our poor volunteers who are making those calls. We all have a lot of other things to do. So please think about it. Thank you for those who have pledged, and have a good day.
Whoever you are and wherever you are in life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex, the senior minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And welcome to our second Sunday of Flying Pigs. Time for us to keep pigging out. I'll show myself out. Nope, you're not done with me yet. So today we're delving into more of our newly articulated shared values of our wider Unitarian Universalist Association, the values of transformation and pluralism, the TP of the JETPIG. So thanks for that. Don't be sweating like a pig now. We're all going to get through this together. The pigs don't sweat. That is a good reminder. As we enter this time together, it's a valid point you made. I mean, they don't sweat, so that's a good point. It's the truth, yep. So as we enter this sacred time together, I invite you to hear these words, a poem by Lynn Unger titled Mycelium. I think you'll find that these points relate greatly to our shared values. Look down, not up, to where the hidden network begins. A web of filaments fine as silk, weaving the world together beneath our feet. Thread by thread, it binds the broken, breaks the bound, turns death to soil, decay to bloom. Nothing stands alone. Beneath the surface, life is held together by what is shared, by what is given, and by what is unseen. So just like the mycelium as a network of care and connection, come and let us worship together this morning.
I invite you, as we begin to light the chalice, to join in reading our mission statement, which is on the back of your order of service. As we light our flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, let us remember that we are grounded in love. We protect the web of life by building beloved community, making good trouble, embodying radical love, engaging in lifelong learning. So may this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. So we sound the singing bowl, entering a time of stillness.
Would you please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 83, found in your gray hymnal, Winds Be Still. Winds be still, storm clouds pass and silence come. Please grace this time with harmony. Fly
morning. JETPIG's flying up here, balancing. If all of my young friends would like to come forward and join us. This pig might not fly, but this pig is a very good balancer. Hi, good morning. Oh my goodness, we have so many young people this morning. How wonderful. Look at this. Look at this full carpet. I'm so excited. Hi. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Good. I'm happy to see you this morning. So this week, we started, it doesn't feel like it, but we started a new season this week. It still feels very cold outside, but what season did we just start this week? Spring. Huh? Preach. Spring in northern Michigan is kind of annoying, she said. You know, it might not feel like it yet, but do you know what that's called when we have the first day of spring? Do you know what it's called that day? The equinox, very good. So we celebrate the spring equinox. And I have a little reading for us this morning. So what happens in spring? Starts to get warmer. And then colder again, and then warmer again, and then colder again, and then it snows, and then it's 50 degrees, and then it's sunny, and that all can happen within like an hour, you know. Right? It's crazy around here. It's too much. So I think something that happens in spring is something that we're talking about this morning. Transformation. That's a big word. What does transformation mean? Anybody know? Change. Transformation is all about change. What changes do we notice in the springtime? It's getting warmer. Some of the snow's starting to melt. Pigs become jet pigs. Who knew that was a springtime thing? What about the animals? What do the animals do in the springtime? Came out from hibernation. Bears come out from hibernation. Yeah, hedgehogs come out from hibernation. We don't have, I have a hedgehog at my house. He doesn't hibernate, but. What about the flowers and the plants? They start to grow. So we see all of this new life emerging around us. And it takes some time. And it makes us really anxious because we're like, we just want it to be warm, right? But we have to wait. Transformation takes time. We want to go to the beach. Amen. I want to go to the beach. I can't wait for the water to be warm enough to go to the beach. So let me do this little reading for us. So this is about Ostara. So Ostara in pagan traditions is what they call the spring equinox. Let's begin with Ostara, also called the vernal equinox. Ostara is the dawn celebration of the wheel of the year. We emerge from the cold, dark days of winter, leave behind what we no longer need, and take our first steps into new beginnings with purpose, lightness, and joy. It is a time of balance and renewal, with promises of longer days swirling in the air. Equinox means equal night. There are exactly as many hours of daylight as there are of night, and the sun shines directly onto the Earth's equator. This happens twice a year, on the first day of spring and the first day of autumn. And it happens because of the tilt of the Earth's axis. If you're in the northern hemisphere, which we are, the days get a little longer following the spring equinox. But if you live in the southern hemisphere, the days will be shrinking. No matter where you live, you can celebrate the spring equinox. It's no coincidence that many of the themes of this holiday span place, time, and culture. A sense of possibility, of new beginnings, is in the very light and air. Ostara is the season of buds, not blossoms. It's a yawn, a big, full body stretch, and a wiggling of the toes as the world warms up and gets ready to come alive. Ice is melting, the hard frozen ground begins to thaw. It's a time of softening and loosening. We made it through the darkest days of winter. Now we crack a window to clear out the stale air and let in the fresh breeze. Some years, there might still be snow on the ground, or if you're like us, it might just snow on the first day of spring. You might have a snow day on the first day of spring. You did. But despite the unpredictable aspects of the season, there's always a tinge of hope. The temperature may be brisk, And we'll probably need a sweater or a hat and when we go on walks outside, but we know that soon we will be out in our short sleeves. Hope keeps us moving in the direction of light, life, and longer days. Take your time. You don't need to rush into anything. It's normal to sometimes feel a little overwhelmed by change, especially since we're still processing the lessons from winter. If you feel hyper or pulled in too many directions, slow down. Focus on one thing, one small bud in a tree or a single bird. The next 6 weeks until Beltane, which happens in May, will focus on growth but also balance. Take them gradually, a little at a time, even if it's tempting to try to do everything at once. I think we need a stretch. Can we do a stretch? Because I feel like I love what it says about spring being a stretch. So let's just, everybody take a big stretch this morning. So that's our feeling for this springtime beginning, is that good stretch. Our bodies are waking up and we're warming up and we have that good big stretch. And that big yawn first thing in the morning when you wake up. That's what the earth is doing. You're still tired. Me too, man. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. It's rough around here. But we're still having a great time. It's all right. And sometimes we just got to stretch it out. And that's what transformation in spring is all about. And now I have an announcement. This is mostly for the grown-ups, but it's also for you because it's exciting for you and it's really about you. Nothing is exciting. Wow. We have a tiny philosopher in our midst. All right, so this is a fun announcement for the adults, but also for the children. So our RE program is growing. As you can see, there are a lot more friends on this carpet than there have been in the past. And we have new visitors coming each week, and we have folks calling the church each week saying, hey, what does your children's programming look like? And especially, we have a lot of families coming with very young children, and we don't necessarily have the capacity to care for them as much as we would like to be able to right now. So we are growing. Growth is all about transformation. So our program needs an update. We need to tie into our mission and sink into that mission a little bit more that reflects lifelong learning, right? We said the mission today. We are engaging in lifelong learning. Lifelong means starting very tiny and growing up to very big grown-ups, right? So lifelong means or very small or very large pigs. So we are working on a new name and a bit of a rebrand for the RE program. So instead of RE, we will now have SEED. So SEED is Spiritual Ethical Exploration and Development. So the goal with SEED is it ties into our mission. So I don't know if you've read the mission. We just did. How does it start? It starts grounded in love. Where do seeds go? In the ground. And then they sprout out, and they become sprouts and seedlings, and then they grow and grow. And then our congregation grows, and our community grows, and our church grows. So and the tomatoes start a war with the beans, apparently. I don't know. So this encompasses lifelong learning from our youngest to our oldest community members. And being a UU, as we know, is all about exploration. But just like plants, young people need space to grow. We have one classroom right now, and it covers all of our young people's age groups. So right now, we are looking at expanding into 2 new spaces and 2 new small communities for our youngest members. So we are updating the nursery. We are working on hiring someone to work in the nursery. And then we're also creating a space to offer programming for youth, so middle school and high school. And our classrooms will have fun new themed names that go along with SEED. So the nursery, because it's the very youngest where we start our littlest sprouts, will be the greenhouse. And then we will have, for our elementary age, we will have the garden. And then we will have the grove, which will be our youth space. And they're all G's. That wasn't intentional, but it just kind of happened. So, as we know, plants need lots of things to grow. And as a community, this isn't just my RE program. This isn't just the parents' RE program. This is all of our SEED program, This is all of our SEED program. This is all of our education programs. So we need you to water the seed. So there are lots of ways that you can help with this transition and support the growth of our community through this children's programming. And it is our job to nurture these young people and their families and to help grow our congregation. So how can you help? We need volunteers. Volunteers keep coming up. It's, welcome to the UU if you're new here. We're a volunteer-run organization for the most part. So we need volunteers. We need folks that are willing to work with the kids, and we need also an RE or SEED committee. So we need people who are interested in investing in the lives of these young people by showing up for them in different ways. The other thing is we need stuff. So we need items for the nursery. I've created a wish list, and if you look in the upcoming flash, it hasn't been posted in the flash yet, but it'll be posted in the flash this upcoming week, or you can see me after the service, and I will have a link to share with you. But we need toys, and we need furniture, and we need all kinds of things, so help us invest in that. And finally, you can show up for events. When we have family events, when we have things that engage our youngest community members, I think the sort of cross-generational approach is really, really important here. And mentoring these young people and these families is really vital to creating this mycelial web of connection between all of us. So come and get to know people. Come and, even during coffee hour, get to know the kids. Ask what they did during seed programming today. And finally, I just have a little quote for you that is attributed to Audrey Hepburn, according to the internet. I don't know if she actually said it, but here we go. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow, and I think investing in our children is very much about believing in tomorrow and believing in the future of this congregation. So thank you for being here for these young folks, and I hope you will continue to be here. I will be in the social hall during coffee hours with all kinds of things for you to sign up for and links to baby registries and all of these things. So come and chat with me. But now we have to sing our JETPIG song. So those of you who were not here last week, we did a YMCA situation where we make all the letters of JETPIG. So we have to stand up for this part. And the grown-ups have to stand up too. You don't have to make the letters, grown-ups, because there might not be space. You might whack your neighbor. But J is for justice. E, you have to use your leg. E is for equity. T is for transformation. What comes next? P. P is for pluralism. I is for interdependence. G for generosity. All right, let's sing.
Week, and I'm going to need your help to sing the JETPIG song again. Probably should be a little bit familiar now that we've done it. But all of you are invited. This will be a call and response style, and we'll sing together.
Sing with the JETPIG. Multiply the JETPIGs.
You gotta say, hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Give me a J
J
for justice.
justice.
E
E
for equity.
equity.
T
T
for transformation.
transformation.
P
P
for pluralism.
pluralism.
Give me a G for interdependence and generosity. For interdependence and generosity. You gotta say, hey, JETPIG. Hey, JETPIG. You gotta say, hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Give me a JET.
JET.
Give me a PIG.
PIG.
Let me hear you say justice,
Justice.
equity,
Equity.
transformation,
Transformation.
pluralism,
Pluralism.
interdependence and generosity.
Interdependence
And generosity. It's all about love.
It's all about
You gotta say, hey, JETPIG. Hey, JETPIG. Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
Hey, JETPIG.
It's about love. It's about love.
Yay!
Great job, everyone.
party people. Let's go.
This is not the church I was raised in. But I love it. Okay. We are privileged to sustain our congregation and its work for weeks and months and years, and giving brings our mission to life and nurtures our seed, touching those within our walls and reaching out beyond. So, as we've said before, grounded in love, we protect the web of life by building beloved community, pursuing social justice and liberation, embodying radical love, welcoming those at the margins, engaging in lifelong learning, seeking faith and discovery, and we give in love and in hope, as we're able, knowing that our contributions are used mindfully. Now, the baskets that will be passed have two sides. The red side is for community needs, reaching out. The blue side is for sustenance of this congregation. And now, to nurture some seed. Okay. Other ways in which you can give are shown on the slide. You can mail a check to the congregation at our street address. You can give via the UUCGT website or the Venmo app. There's a QR code right there for you more technologically advanced than I. Okay, you can give through the Vanco mobile app, which can be downloaded on your phone or iPad, or you can make arrangements with your bank to have regular transfers to the UUCGT account. So you can designate your gift as you choose for the congregation, those in need, fulfilling your annual pledge. And remember what Dan said, we could use some more pledges. Okay, so let us pass and we'll enjoy the offertory music.
Excuse me just a second. Oh, here it is. Okay. We've now come to the time in our service when we share the joys and concerns. I'm Ann Swaney, a member of the Congregational Care Team. It is our practice as a religious community to set aside time in our service to name and honor the joys and concerns that mark our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I will be sharing the joys and concerns that have been offered up for us to hold on our hearts today. If you have a joy or concern that's a bit too heavy to share, I invite you to reach out to Reverend Alex or the Congregational Care Team. Congregational Care Team, if you're here, raise your hands, please, so others in the audience can see you. There's Millie. Anybody else? Oh, over there, okay. And Carl and Jane and, okay, thank you. If your joy or concern is still raw and tender, we invite you to hold it on your heart as you are held in this loving community. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. And so now, here is what has been shared with this gathered community. We have a long list today. A big thank you to Nan Worthington for a new welcome sign by the welcome table. A joy. I got my tickets to fly to Sweden in May. This is Mary Van Valen. My pen pal is 67 years, is turning 80, and I will be there to celebrate with her. Please keep David Moore's brother, Patrick, in your thoughts. His health has been failing, and he's been in the hospital off and on for the last 3 weeks. It is a joy to be attending the service today from Teresa Spahar and David Moore. With great joy, we act in partnership to secure justice, equity, and compassion with those who experience oppression in our community and the world. From the social justice team, Mike and Mary. 11 years ago to the day, we came to UUCGT for the first time. It was one of our first time going anywhere together. It has been a joyful journey from Beth Strawbridge and Tom Darton. And one more from June Thaden. For nearly 2 years, my racing heart and flutter forced visits to the ER and Munson's heart ward, where ultimately cardioversion shocked my heart back to normal sinus rhythm. 10 days ago, another episode was building only 3 weeks after the last one in February. I messaged my new cardiologist on Munson's portal, and 2 hours later, one of her team responded. She advised that a pacemaker be inserted. My nurse daughter once again took me to Munson, where what I think of as a miracle happened. The doctor with whom I already had a May appointment agreed to schedule me at the end of his already full workday. What a relief to feel great that next day. I am so thankful for the prompt care of these 2 excellent doctors at Munson. And a week later, here's June Thaden sitting in our sanctuary. And now let us hold a moment of stillness for the concerns and joys that remain in our silence and on our hearts.
If you would take a deep breath in and out with me. Feel your feet resting on the earth, the ground that holds you. Beneath you and beneath all of us, there is a hidden world, a vast, intricate web of connection. The mycelium, the quiet tendrils of fungi, weave unseen beneath the soil. They reach, they stretch, they intertwine. They pass nutrients from one tree to another, whispering between roots, sharing what is needed, and giving what is asked. Breathe in and out once again. Like the mycelium, we too are bound together in ways we cannot always see. Through kindness, through shared struggle, through the quiet generosity of love. take a moment to imagine the connections, the people who have nourished your spirit, the communities that have shaped you into who you are today. All those unseen hands and hearts that have made your life possible. Breathe in this truth. No person or thing stands alone. And breathe out in gratitude for the web of life that holds and sustains us all. May we live with this constant awareness. And may we be like the mycelium, nourishing, connecting, and transforming the world beneath our feet. Amen. Let's join in singing a special song of response, number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open.
We'll sing through this together twice, and then I'll indicate each section to start. This one, then here, and here, here as a round, and we'll sing through the round twice. Allow the sense of singing together to just carry you, and if you get lost, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want, and if I go like that, that's our stop, okay? I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose. I know this rose will I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfold its wings. I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfold its wings. I know this rose will open.
Our reading this morning includes two of the UUA's new shared values, transformation and pluralism, from the renewed Article 2 statements adopted last summer at the General Assembly. And I believe that comes up June 14 to 18 this year, so we can participate there too. As you hear these values, notice which principles might be behind these newer values. As Unitarian Universalists, we covenant, congregation to congregation and through our association, to support and assist one another in our ministries. We draw from our heritages of freedom, reason, hope, and courage, building on the foundation of love. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Inseparable from one another, these shared values are, today's theme, transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. You saw that third word in seed. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages. Never complete, never perfect. And pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and our commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect.
So, who's loving all of this pig talk as of late? Oh, there are actually some hands today. That's great. Well, I promise not to hog too much of your time this morning with more pig jokes and puns. I know some of you are saying, oh God, will he ever stop? I know, these pig puns are really starting to bore some of you. Hang with me. If all this pig talk is really starting to get to you, I've got another interesting image and metaphor for you to think about, and that's the metaphor of mycelium. In rereading all of these new shared values, I couldn't help but think about how mycelium itself might just be the perfect metaphor for how all these values connect. While JETPIG can help us to remember each of these values, I think mycelium offers a deeper expansion on how we can understand each of these values from an earth-based perspective. Mycelium is the root system of mushrooms and fungi, the connective tissues of a fungal network. Mycelium is the part that grows and spreads unlike other parts of the fungus, like the head of a mushroom. And this root system is made up of a network of tiny thread-like filaments that spread through soil, wood, and pretty much any other natural layer and environment. Beneath forests of trees, mycelium can be understood as a sort of wood-wide web. Don't worry, there's more. A network of roots that connects individual plants together, transferring nutrients and resources, and even facilitating communication across the trees. So while pigs with jetpacks are a much more memorable image for our UUA shared values, I also wonder about this practical image of how these values are interconnected. And thinking about justice and equity, transformation and pluralism, and even interdependence and generosity, I see how mycelium itself plays into each of these values, providing nutrients and resources across, providing this network across, I lost my place there for a moment. My iPad did a thing. Here I am. Providing nutrients and resources across each plant according to each plant's need, fostering transformation through mycelium's vital role in decomposition and decay. If we think of Unitarian Universalism as a mycelial faith, we might even shift our understanding of our movement's growth and evolution over time. Unitarian Universalism is not a static institution, but a living, interwoven system, constantly rebuilding and revitalizing itself by examining old traditions and structures and reimagining them in light of new possibilities. We are also a mycelial people, supporting one another across differences, creating connections that foster mutual flourishing and understanding. As Unitarian Universalists, we've said that love is at the center of all we do, but maybe, just maybe mycelium should be at the center. What do you think? Careful now, don't get too excited. We might just start a whole other trend. And I actually challenge you to see if there are any ideas or artwork out there about how JETPIGs and mycelium actually might come together. I'd actually really be curious if any of you have ideas on that. So last Sunday, we explored the first two shared values of JETPIG, the values of justice and equity, and of how Unitarian Universalists understand these two important values. Now, this Sunday, we're going deeper into two more of these shared values, looking at transformation and pluralism. These are poignant values for our country today, where there's an attempt at going back in time rather than adapting to a changing world. Attempts to ban books and to gut the history and representation of marginalized peoples, those who are so often underrepresented in our society and culture. In rewriting, or in some cases, the digital book burning, the removal of content on websites of our history, to favor narratives that deny historical fact and uplift a favored mythical past. Likewise, we're in a world and culture that attempts to tell us that we are not all sacred beings, that some of us have more value and worth than others. That trans folks, immigrants, disabled folks, and women are somehow lesser than because of our deeply ingrained white supremacy culture in this wider society. This culture that we've built on the foundations of capitalism, productivity culture, and a slave economy. We need a Unitarian Universalism that is both transformative and transformational, that affirms the sacredness of all beings and celebrates the ways that we are different in a culture that would have us be afraid of our neighbor who is different from ourselves. Unitarian Universalism is staking a claim in this wider cultural discourse to say that we are all sacred beings, that our openness to change is required in composting of what no longer serves us to make room for what is both life-giving and new. So let's dive in now to our third UU shared value of JETPIG, transformation, the idea that we adapt and move in a changing world. As this shared value reads, this is an indispensable part of the history of Universalism and Unitarianism. We as a people have never arrived at a complete or perfect belief system or theology. In fact, part of the historic developments of both Unitarianism and Universalism have needed both a hunger and a flexibility toward change. Arising from two Protestant Christian denominations, Unitarian Universalism today is a case study in adapting to a changing world. In our adapting and transforming, we've been flexible theologically to no longer cling to an exclusively Christian center. In truth, Unitarian Universalism has no centered or favored tradition over any other. While we still retain a lot of the vestiges of Protestant worship, a Sunday morning service with hymns and a sermon, a minister that is ordained a reverend and wears the stole, even our casual references to one another about going to church. Are you starting to kind of see the connections to composting and renewal here? We as Unitarian Universalists prize no tradition over all others. Instead, we especially prize spiritual growth and transformation, but not just individual, it's also collective. For those who are fairly familiar with our 7 UU principles, which ones do you see behind our value of transformation? For me, I especially see connections to our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. A prerequisite for any kind of spiritual growth is an acknowledgement that we ourselves must be open to change. If I believe that I have the whole complete truth and that everything I believe can fit neatly into this one clean little box, then I'm not really free to connect with new experiences or insights. Spiritual growth requires our ability to adapt to life's constant changes. This doesn't mean that we're always happy or accepting of these changes. Many times we're not. And sometimes these changes are more than we believe we're able to handle. And yet, even so, spiritual growth requires an openness to change if we're going to connect with a sense of something larger than ourselves and be truly free in our search for truth and meaning. Remember, Unitarian Universalism is a mycelial faith. Mycelium itself is transformation. We see transformation show up in decomposition and renewal, how mycelium helps to break down organic materials and actually transmutes death into new life. Likewise, mycelium offers us a vantage point into resilience and regeneration, how these vast networks persist through fires and droughts, adapting and rerouting nutrients in new ways of growth. Mycelium, too, acts like a neural network of the whole forest, signaling to all life when there's a disruption or stress. Unitarian Universalism values transformation and our ability to renew ourselves in our shared faith, to be resilient in the face of adversity, and to share deep wisdom and collective action as we grow spiritually, not just as individuals, but as a growing collective. That's transformation. We adapt, we grow, and we change. Now to our fourth value, the value of pluralism, that we as Unitarian Universalists celebrate that we are all sacred beings, that we are purposefully diverse in our cultures, experiences, and theologies. Oxford Languages defines pluralism as a system or society in which two or more groups coexist and share power as they also retain their own independent traditions. I feel that pluralism describes Unitarian Universalism quite well. We are a collective of people from all across the theological spectrum, with atheists and non-theists, agnostics and skeptics, earth-centered folks for whom God is nature, and of course theists who affirm a God of love. There are likely just as many theological flavors as there are Unitarian Universalists. And if we were to brand ourselves like Baskin-Robbins ice cream, we'd need a lot more than just 31 flavors. That is the beauty of this tradition, that we are all in a woven tapestry of so many other traditions and backgrounds. And yet we are not just a tradition made up of other traditions. This is probably one of the biggest misconceptions about Unitarian Universalism that people have when they think about who we are and how we gather. We are a religious tradition in our own right. And many people wonder how so many of us can get together under one roof on Sunday mornings and worship together without constant fights or disagreements. It's truly a miracle. It's a rare and impressive thing that we can gather like this as a microcosm of how we'd like the rest of the world to be. Our emergent tradition is one in which we can travel together on our spiritual journeys and yet remain independent and distinct. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't all see the world the same way, and this is actually to be celebrated. The good news is that we don't have to all believe or think the same way in order to get along. Part of what interests people about getting involved here is that you will come into contact with people who think and believe differently from you. And this is a sacred encounter with difference that will enrich your own theology and way of being. There is deep truth to the old Unitarian Universalist adage, we need not think alike to love alike. Have you heard that one before? We actually need to not think alike in order to encounter the fullest expressions of love that we can find anywhere. That is what is so rich about belonging to a UU congregation, that congregation's pluralism. Again, we see some echoes of our earlier principles, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, how we are all sacred beings, acceptance of one another in our congregations, and of course, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. How many of you feel that that is your favorite of all the principles? The free and responsible search. I see some nods. Well, notice that this same language appears in the text of the new UUA shared value, like it pretty much verbatim, but I want you to take note of that word responsible, an important concept for how we as Unitarian Universalists make meaning. The word responsible hints at ethical obligation. Much of our understanding of the free and responsible search is rooted in a sense of individual belief, but this would be a misunderstanding of the larger picture. Our pursuit of truth and meaning is not just an individual endeavor, but one that connects to a larger whole. The word responsible suggests an accountability for the ideas and beliefs that we hold, examining our assumptions and biases while also opening ourselves up to challenge. Our search for truth and meaning is free so long as it's also responsible and within the wider covenant of how we've agreed to be together. Mycelium connects here too with pluralism, how it supports diverse life forms in an ecosystem where different beings can both coexist and thrive, how fungi actually form partnerships with trees and exist in mutually beneficial relationships. In this pluralistic environment, this mycelial network operates without an explicit center. Instead, it's the system that is held in constant covenantal relationship, one that self-organizes and is capable of holding multiple tensions and truths. All right, now I've gone way too far with the whole mycelium metaphor. I promise I'm a real fun guy to talk to. Told you we weren't done. You still got one more Sunday of me after this, I know. To close, I hope you'll be thinking about mycelium as a metaphor for faith and community. Just as mycelium connects, adapts, and nurtures, Unitarian Universalism's values of pluralism and transformation call us to stay open to new learnings and change, to build networks of interdependence and support where all beings are seen as sacred and can thrive, and to recognize that growth and renewal often emerge from struggle, just as mycelium turns decay into new life. In this pluralist, mycelial faith of ours, maybe, just maybe, mycelium and pigs with jetpacks can coexist. We'll have to wait to see. Amen. Well, it's good. You haven't thrown me out yet. That's great. Why don't we take a brief moment to pause together in a moment of stillness? I just have a few quick announcements to make at this favorite time for you in our service, the great litany of announcements. Just a big note to say that there's an Emma's Revolution concert happening here at UUCGT. We've got that coming up on Saturday, April 12th at 7 o'clock p.m. Reverend Wendy is actually here. Reverend Wendy, would you raise your hand? Reverend Wendy's available if you have questions about getting tickets. Reverend Wendy is our community minister for social justice. I should introduce you a little bit more. But you should go see Reverend Wendy if you're curious about getting tickets. It'll be really wonderful, and they will sell out fast, so you're not going to want to miss it. We also have an announcement from the Social Justice Action Team, the proposed SJA mission for this coming year. Grounded in love, we uphold the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We act in partnership to secure justice, equity, and compassion with those who are experiencing oppression in our community and the world. This is the beloved community we nurture, protect, and demand. So I invite you to go see the Social Justice Action Table. You have a whole host of offerings on how to get involved. So please go and check them out and see if there's a way that you want to team up and support this mission of that team. And lastly, just a reminder that we're continuing to have the Sacred Self-Care Journey Group meetings on Tuesdays at 4 o'clock here in the sanctuary. That's been a really rich territory, I think, for a lot of spiritual discussion and discourse. So if that's of interest to you, there's a link for a Zoom that you can join in with, or you can also join us here in person at 4 o'clock this Tuesday. So everybody is welcome. Now let's sing together.
Would you please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, found in your teal hymnal.
Trust the wisdom in each of us.
And if you're comfortable, either join hands with your neighbor, or you can also do this gesture, this expression of please do not touch me that we have here at UUCGT. So please respect that if somebody's around you and doesn't want to be touched. And all of you online are welcome to come join us and outstretch your hands. And then Dave's going to offer some chalice extinguishing words. I just wanted to make sure you didn't sit down before inviting you to get back up again.
Go, transformed in faith, not the kind called to move mountains, but the quieter sort that calls us to take the first step. Even when the whole staircase rises beyond our view, as we stride toward the unseen, may we notice the way unfolding only as we risk traveling it. And may we remember and trust that we take none of these steps alone. So we release this flame, sending our light and transforming love into the world. Thank you.
Nothing like a ringtone to remind us of just how connected we are. And just a quick note to say, in the spirit of community, covenant community and commitment, and in the spirit of bringing home the bacon for transformation and pluralism, may we be made ready to serve one another and create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace. I'm done.